Hi folks, this is Greg at Best Choice Trailers. Today we're going to take a walk around a Sure-Trac STRCh. That'd be a round top commercial car hauler. It's a 9,900 pound GVW. Standard would be a 7,000, but we tend to option all of our Sure-Tracs with the 52s. Shown here would be a black exterior. Again, they do offer this in a Vinos with a flat top. This would be a round top, round front. Stock these mainly in a 20-24 foot length. Standard optional colors are black, white, silver, charcoal, and pewter. You can also get quite a few custom colors as well, but those are all standard pricing. Let's take a look around the trailer, show you some of the standard features. So on the corners, we've got the bright anodized aluminum, gives it a nice sharp look. Notice up in the corners, it's got the bullet LED lights. Got a 6-inch tube tongue and frame. Some manufacturers will take tube and then drop back to an I-beam the rest of the way back to frame. This is tube throughout. Notice they do a triple tube tongue as well, not an A-frame, so you get the extra cross member in the middle. Note the placement of the battery box in the trailer. I've had some customers with some cheaper trailers in the market. They've got some odd placements for the battery box. This one's out of the way, so if you want to put weight distribution on the side rail, you certainly can. Notice that the jack is a zinc coated, not a regular painted jack. And then the end of the tube tongue is capped, so you can't get acid rain and salt back the tongue. Notice there is a sand foot on the jack. Minor detail on Sure-Trac, their safety chains seem to be a good bit heavier. They're almost like an equipment grade chain instead of the utility trailer style chains that we see on a lot of the car haulers. The tongue is also blasted and powder coated. Many trailers in the market generally skip the blasting because generally cargo trailer plants there's not enough painted surface area for them to justify putting big dollar equipment in, so generally that gets kind of overlooked. Sure-Trac, being that they build opens, tends to do a pretty good job in that area. And then they also undercoat the entire trailer, which we'll show you in a minute, not only the base frame but also the roof bows. A couple other details. You notice the trim is a 3-inch trim throughout. A lot of manufacturers just use a 1-inch, and then holding the trim would be a self-tapping lag, not a trim screw. You notice they double up on them as well, where many manufacturers will just put one, and it's also at a wider spacing. Again, they miter the trim as well. You'd be surprised how many manufacturers don't. It's just a butt end cut instead of a mitered cut. Again, they've got the anodized aluminum 48-inch side doors standard. Note it is an RV door as well. It's not a in-house built strap door. Very nice clean look. It's got an aluminum holdback instead of plastic. Also note the RV latch is also metal, not a plastic latch. If you're not familiar with the RV latches, you can basically latch the handle or a deadbolt. You got two different ways that you can do it. It's got a nice look to the back side of the door. And then, of course, you got a side door step well. Sure-Trac uses a thicker 030 aluminum. If you've ever seen a wavy looking trailer, generally that's going to be 024. Also, the darker the color, sometimes on those thinner 024 trailers, the more warpage you'll see. Frame also comes into play. If you got a nice heavy duty tube frame, generally it ain't going to rack as much as a lighter frame, like an I-beam for instance. So also the height plays into it as well. Standard height generally ain't gonna rack as much as an extra height. So all those things come in play. This being a screwless exterior is also going to give you a very clean look. It's not gonna look warped because you're not putting screws into it. Just like house soffit and fascia and that, the more nails you tend to put into it, the more it's gonna look kind of warped. Aluminum wheels and radial tires are standard. This being a 5,200 pound axle upgrade, it's got the 6-lug 225 R16 load range D tires. Going around to the back of the trailer, side flow-through vents are standard on this, as are the bullet LED lights. A couple other details we like. Sure-Trac puts the security latch bar lock on standard. It covers your bolt so somebody can't get in. It's got the high output LED light. Notice they trim out the rear ramp door in aluminum. Many manufacturers will leave exposed steel there. They also use a made in Elkhart, Indiana door hardware. I've fought quite often with Chinese hardware on doors. Sounds like a little detail, but generally the USA made hardware's got bushings in it, doesn't squeak and squeal as much. 5 bumpers on the back ramp door instead of 3. Then you also notice at the bottom there's 4 hinges, and they're the wider hinges with the grease zerks. Again, these are all nice features. Also, you'll notice the grab handles are aluminum instead of plastic, and there's 2 instead of 1. One thing with Sure-Trac, you'll notice that ramp door pretty well just glides down to the ground. These guys have a lot better quality control on their ramp spring assist. Some we fight to get down, others slam down. These guys are pretty well perfectly balanced. More little details, they put a lot of extra lags on the ramp flap extension. Fair amount of manufacturers in a car hauler put the flap on, but a lot of times we've got guys that are asking for them to be repaired or repairing them themselves after a handful of use on the cheaper trailers, because they generally leave out quite a few of the lags there. 16 on center floor, 16 on center walls. In the walls, it's all box tube framing. On the ceiling, it's also box tube framing. On the round tops, they use a 1x1 tube. On the flat tops, it's going to be a 1x2. 2 standard LED dome lights. And then you'll notice the white looking ceiling. So that's basically a thermocool roofing liner. It's got a white face to it. There's also a reflective insulation type material in that liner. So not only is there a one-piece roof that's going to help keep your roof cooler than a Galvalume steel roof would, but then you've also got the reflective liner in there as well. So again, a one-piece aluminum roof's not only one piece, but it's also going to stay a little cooler because it's aluminum, and then that liner is also going to help. Sure-Trac's using a high-quality birch liner in these. Now that may change. Many manufacturers are having to move away from plywood because of the hurricanes this past fall. But again, for now, that's what they're using in the wall. You'll notice they use a very clean H mold. Cleans up the Lawn strips that you've seen for many years now. Also, they trim out the top of the wall there. It gives it a nice clean look. You'll notice the cove that they do at the top is also a one-piece cove, and it's an 080, not an 030. If you see a colored cove, generally that's body aluminum that's 024 or 30. The one-piece extruded cove is a thicker 080 aluminum. Also notice where the wiring for the dome lights and whatnot go in and out of frame, they grommet. Some nice little detail that they do. 4 D-rings are standard placement set up for a car. Let's take a look underneath the trailer. Sure-Trac, the way they do their D-rings, they basically brace out a lot different than many. Many of them will use an 1/8 inch plate underneath, and all it is strap, or some will just use fender washers. But if you take a look, Sure-Trac actually does a nice fabricated, you got to work pretty hard to pull that out of the floor. You're also going to see that they undercoat underneath the trailer, do a nice quality job. And then up front, you'll notice all the wirings ran to a junction box. That's not always the case. And you'll see there they put gusset plates that tie the trailer together. And then that header that you see right there is a tube header with a triple tube tongue tying in. Many manufacturers will not do a header. If they do, it's a piece of fabricated C-channel floor material like so, which isn't anywhere close to the same as that tube header. Folks, I hope you learned 1 or 2 things about Sure-Trac's trailers. They certainly build a quality enclosed. We're proud to represent them because they build a quality enclosed trailer, which is getting harder and harder to find. If you have any questions on their units or any of the other trailers we carry, give us a ring at 717-220-4220 or visit us on the web at bestchoicetrailers.com.